Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen auset-heru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, pass it on to somebody else who might like it too, and drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to read two of my favorite positive comments from previous videos, and one of them might be your comment. Also, underneath this video is my Amazon wish list in case you want to give me a gift. Gifts are my love language. My PayPal is underneath in case you want to give me a donation. My merchandise for Ask an Aquarius is underneath in case you want to Ask an Aquarius shirt or a mug or a pillow. Also, any information that you want to get in contact with me, if you want to ask me a question or give me an idea for the show, all of my social media and my email is underneath this video as well. Likewise, if you want to get a reading done, email me and I'll be so happy to give you an appointment. Okay? So today we're going to talk about unpopular opinions again. I did an unpopular opinions video last week, but I had so many unpopular opinions that I couldn't fit them all into one video. So this is going to be the second video talking about unpopular relationship opinions. So I'm just going to read them. It's only 4 of them. I'm going to read them and I'm going to respond to them one by one. Number 1, people are allowed to decide if they want nothing to do with you, literally. No one owes you a damn thing, not even an explanation. Now, this unpopular opinion has been stated many times, and I saw it again and I posted a meme about it. And I actually had to turn off the comment section because people who had been ghosted or something to that extent were very upset. They were very, very, very upset. They felt as though that people should give an explanation. That's the part that really upset them, was the explanation part. And I'm going to tell you, because I didn't feel like saying this over and over again. That's why I turned the comments off. I was just like, okay, whatever. Because I didn't feel like saying this over and over again. But the bottom line is that it is the optimal, that's what I'm going to call it, the optimal, the idealistic, the best possible thing to do as far as what I call rules of engagement. Okay, if you're having a romantic, sexual, whatever, entanglement, whatever we're going to call it this month, if you're having any kind of like a romantic relationship with another person, the appropriate rule of engagement would be to give them an explanation. If you decided you don't want to be around them anymore, or that the relationship is detrimental to you, the best case scenario is to give them an explanation so that they won't spend the rest of their life wondering what happened. And that is true. I agree with that 100%. But you do not need it. It would be nice to get it. It would be optimal. It would be idealistic. It would be nice. It would be best. It would be all of those words. But you do not need it. If somebody walked away from you with no explanation, you would be simple. You'd be simple to sit there and wait for them to hopefully come back around one day and give you an explanation. The smartest thing for you to do in those situations, if you can't get an explanation, is just to wash your hands of it and leave it alone. Because 9 times out of 10, if you really honestly did not do anything, it has nothing to do with you. So you antagonizing and being angry and being hurt and being bitter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years later is a detriment to yourself. I've been ghosted before, and 2 of the situations in the beginning I found out why. But I've had people not so much ghost me after that, but like people who didn't, just kind of backed off, and it never was a problem for me because I feel like this, and this is my response to this. If you don't want to be bothered with me, that is your right. And this is where a lot of people make a mistake. They feel entitled to an explanation. Well, we dealt with each other all this time. I deserve an explanation. I'm entitled to an explanation. I don't feel that way. I don't feel entitled to an explanation because I could be the problem. Honestly, maybe I am an irk. Maybe I have done something harmful to the person. So if that person has identified me as being detrimental to them, why do they need to come explain that to me? It would be nice just so I know and maybe I can change the behavior. But if they don't feel comfortable with that, it is absolutely wrong of us to force them or keep calling them or keep trying to get an answer from them. That's absolutely disgusting. People have done that to me. People do that to me. I have an ex right now, Cancer. And I'm like, oh my God, why did I do this to myself? She will, every so often, she pops back up with some emergency, some drama, something that she absolutely has to talk to me about because I'm the only person in the world that would possibly understand. And I cannot tell you guys how, and it's not that I didn't give her an explanation. Matter of fact, I didn't give her an explanation. When I stopped talking to her the last time, I did not give her an explanation. And I'm going to tell you why. Because she was very clear, and she's very clear now on why I don't want to be bothered with her. But guess what? She doesn't care. That's the bottom line. People that do this kind of thing, they don't care. She knows why I stepped off from her. Because I left her more than once. Okay? She knows. But she doesn't care. Because it's not fitting her emotional needs. So whatever her emotional needs are, she's going to keep trying to drag me back to fulfill them without caring what it's doing to me or not. And this is my problem with this, because most people who are demanding this entitled explanation are doing it for the same damn reason. They don't really want an explanation. They want you to come back and fulfill their needs. Seriously, that's what it's really about. And for a lot of you out here listening to me, a lot of people who argued the point in my, Instagram when I posted this initially, that's what it was. But I didn't say anything because, number one, I didn't want to get into a back and forth with specific people. Number one, I don't think that's productive. And number two, I knew I was going to put this in the video. So I was like, anybody who really cares can go listen to the video. But the bottom line is that, yes, it would be great to get an explanation. But if you don't get one, just move on. Just move on with your life and just assume that it was that person. They had to do what they had to do for themselves. Either it was you or it was them. Either way, it was what they needed to do. If I am a detrimental force in somebody's life, I want them to walk away. I want them to leave me alone. I want them, if I'm poison or toxic, I want you to leave me alone. And no, you don't owe me an explanation. If you want to give me one, I'll take it, but you don't owe it to me. Nobody owes you anything. And that was the whole point of the person who made this post, is that nobody owes you anything. And we have, a lot of Americans especially, have this entitled kind of thing, like, oh, well, you owe me. Nobody owes you shit, period. And if you were in a situation with somebody and they walked away, no matter how you feel about it, you don't have the right to hound them and keep on hitting them up years and years and years later, knowing they don't want to be bothered with you. Even if you don't know why, you know they don't want to be bothered. So leave them alone. Get your closure or your emotional needs or whatever you need or think that you need, get that yourself. Go to therapy. Get some self-help books. Work through that bitterness. Work through that frustration. You don't need the other person to do that. A lot of people stay tripped up because of that one thing. Number two, if a person is living at home and has the courage to tell you or bring you there, don't be weirded out. A lot of people are going through stuff you might not know about, especially in this economy. So if you meet a person and they take you home, they living with their mama, their grandmama, and their cousins, their aunts and their uncles, this person is saying do not judge them. To be honest with you, I don't judge them. I don't see anything wrong with living with your family, especially in this economy. Like, for instance, some people lost their jobs because of the thing that will not be named, okay? YouTube doesn't like us talking about it, but because of that thing, the illness that's going on across the globe, put it like that. Some people lost their jobs because of that. So some of those people probably did have to move in with another person if they can't make the rent. It's common sense. So I'm not going to judge them because of that. But to be honest with you, I'm not going to date someone seriously that is living with someone else. if they're living with their mama or living with their friends, I'm not really going to take that situation very seriously. It's one thing if they have a roommate or something like that, but I'm talking about a case where somebody's living with their parents in the basement, or they living with their sister or something like that. And it's not because I'm judging them, it's because they're not in a position to be dating, in my opinion. For me, now that could be cool for you, but for me, they're not in a position to be dating. When my finances are not right, I don't date. If I know my money's not right, I don't date. And that's now. I might have done that in the past. When I was younger, I might not have seen that as a problem. But now that I'm older and I'm wiser, I see that when you're dating, it costs money. Okay? So if you're going to be out there dating somebody and your finances are screwed up, that means that person is going to be carrying you. And I'm not carrying nobody. I'm tired of that. I've been through that already, and I'm not carrying nobody else. So if I come across a person and they're down on their luck economically, we can be friends, we can be cool, but until you get your money right, no, we're not dating. And that's just the bottom line. And if that makes me wrong, I'm just going to be wrong. I'm going to be wrong today, okay? Because I'm not doing it. I've been in that position before, and it puts a burden on the person who does have an income. It puts a burden on the other person, or we can't do anything because they're like, well, I don't have any money. I don't want you to pay for it. I've run into that before. So now we can't go anywhere and we can't do anything because you're in a tight economic spot. If you're in a tight economic spot, don't date. Wait till your money get right, then get you a date. That's the way I look at it. Number 3, people who ditch their friends for relationships don't deserve to have those friends when they inevitably break up with whoever they're seeing. Look, I'm just going to say to this one, if you have friends, real true friends, you should not ditch them when you get into a relationship. No, you might not be able to see them as often. You might not be able to go to the club every weekend with your girls if you're in a long-term serious relationship. You might not be able to, go to, the away games with your boys if you're in a long-term serious relationship. That's true. Some things might change. But you shouldn't just ditch your friends. If the relationship lasts or not, you shouldn't just ditch your friends. Those people have been in your life and they've been there for you. So you should at least maintain a relationship as much as you possibly can. And if your significant other is demanding that you don't, that's another bridge you need to cross. Because are they demanding it because these friends aren't real friends? Or are they demanding it because they want to keep you all to themselves? If it's the latter, you're dealing with an abusive person. If it's the former, you now need to decide about those friendships. And the last one, I feel like a lot of people are in love with just the thought of being in a relationship and want to hurry up and find someone just for social media purposes. That's why the relationships don't last too long. Oh, wow. They just want somebody for the gram. I think that's true. I think that some people, especially young people, but older people too, I think some people just want somebody for the gram. I do agree with that. And they do hurry up, and then the relationships fall apart because they don't really know each other that well. And I think that some people are just in love with the thought of being in love. And maybe it's not for the gram, but it's just because they want to feel like somebody cares about them. But the bottom line is they have the wrong expectation and they have the wrong idea. So I do think a lot of people want to be in a relationship for the wrong reasons, and they don't realize how difficult relationships are, and they don't prepare for the relationship. If you want to be in a relationship, you have to prepare. You have to prepare your heart chakra. You have to prepare yourself to communicate. And a lot of us don't have these skills. I didn't have these skills, and I didn't know it when I was trying to date. When I was younger, when I first started trying to date, I didn't have any of these skills, and I didn't even know that I needed them. So I think that a lot of people, they're not even going to be able to deal with a relationship if they find one. Oh, I have one more. The person you are meant to be with will never have to be chased, begged, or given an ultimatum. That was number 5. And I agree with that too. The person you're meant to be with, you should not have to chase. You shouldn't have to beg. You shouldn't have to give them an ultimatum. None of those things, because I've seen people do all of these things. I've done these things, and when you're doing these things, I didn't do all of them. Let me see. I might have gave a few ultimatums, maybe a few, but you shouldn't have to do any of these things, because if the person loves you and they really want to be with you, they need to come into the relationship. Both of you need to come into the relationship willing, willing to do the work, willing to do all of the things that it's going to take to make a relationship happen. If you have to beg them or chase them or give them an ultimatum, they're not ready for those things. And you have to have the strength to walk away, because what usually happens is, in these cases, the person wants you to stay in the relationship, but they don't want to give you what you want in the relationship. And you have to have the courage to be like, well, if what I want isn't being offered, deuces. And a lot of us have a hard time doing that. We stay in these relationships and beg and beg and beg for what we want, never get what we want, get more bitter and hurt and angry and used over time. And a lot of you right now sitting there watching me, knowing we've been there, because I've been in these places too. And that's what usually happens. But what I'm saying is, instead of doing any of that, just leave them alone, because that's not the person for you. The person for you is going to be excited to be with you. The person for you is going to step up to the plate because they want to, not because you force them, because you chase them, because you cry, because you beg them, because you threaten to hurt them or yourself, or because you got pregnant or something like that. Any of those things, none of those things should be the reason why they're with you. They should be with you because when they look at you, they can't imagine being with anyone else. That's it. And if your lover doesn't have that energy towards you, that should not be the person that you're with. It could be the person you play with. It could be the person that you hang out with, but it should not be the person you're in love with and trying to have a life with. That's the wrong person. And you're going to get your feelings hurt time and time again. So I agree with that. I have a good friend that was living with her husband. Soon he became her husband, but they're not married anymore. And she gave him an ultimatum, and she was like, look, if we're not going to get married, I'm out. And so he was like, uh-oh, I'm a loser. So he married her, but continued to cheat and act a fool throughout all the time that they were married and the birth of their 2 children. So giving him that ultimatum, it made him do what she wanted him to do, but he resented her because of it. So he decided to just, disrespect their relationship and do anything he wanted to do in the meantime. And it was disgusting and it was gross. And then they finally broke up and she was devastated about it. And every time I think about it, I'm like, see, she should have left him. when she first said it and he said no, she should have left him alone and messed with somebody else. Let's do these comments. The first comment comes from Tracy Blake. Tracy Blake said, laugh out loud. The first time I heard the song Age of Aquarius, I was 4. And I thought to myself, I don't know what an Aquarius is, but I want to be a part of it. Aquarius is fun. Aquarius is a fun sign to be. We do have some things, some issues like every other sign does. But if I had to choose which sign I would be, I would choose Aquarius again. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the quirkiness of us all. And Gimme Cornbread, who has got a lot of hearts from me, says, my godfather nicknamed me Matlock. He said, I play country and slow, then body slam people with intellect when they least expect it. You know something, if you guys remember the show Matlock, some of you guys remember this show and some of you guys don't, but that's what Matlock used to do. He used to act like he was real slow and real country and didn't understand things and was dim-witted. These are the words he would actually use. And then he was a lawyer, and then he would just slam them with all of this logic. And the person is sitting there like, oh my God, I thought you were a dummy. And the truth is, no, he was playing you the whole time. So Matlock was definitely, he was a lawyer, but he had a little detective characteristics going on too. So thank you guys for watching, and please come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.